Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss foreign bodies in the airway. Foreign body aspiration is one of the most important, potentially life-threatening emergencies in children. Coming to its epidemiology and etiology, the tracheobronchial foreign body aspiration is a preventable cause of accidental death in pediatric age group. Foreign body aspiration can block respiration by obstructing the airway, thereby impairing the oxygenation and ventilation. Although no age group is spared, it is most commonly seen in age group of 1 to 5 years. It is more common in males as compared to females, and these children tend to aspirate food items more commonly as compared to inorganic objects. The commonly aspirated food items include nuts, seeds, hard candy, gums, bones, raw fruits, and vegetable. Common inorganic objects on which children choke include coins, latex balloons, pins, jewelry, magnets, pen caps, and toys. Globular and compressible or round objects such as grapes, nuts, balloons, marshmallows, meats, and candies are particularly hazardous due to their ability to completely occlude the airway. Now let us see what are the developmental vulnerabilities of these young children which make them more prone to foreign body aspiration. At this age, most children are able to stand and are keen to explore their world. This inquisitiveness, along with their fine motor skills, allow them to put small objects into their mouth. They often cry, shout, run, and play with objects in their mouth, and hence they are more vulnerable to aspirate foreign bodies. By this age, however, molars do not erupt, and hence grinding of hard eatables is also compromised. Mature mastication takes longer to develop. That is a second developmental vulnerability in young children. The smaller airway diameter leads to significant blockage of airway by small foreign bodies. Mucus and secretions form a seal around the foreign body, making it more difficult to dislodge by forced air generated by coughing efforts. In addition, the force of air generated by an infant or young child when the child coughs is less effective, and it does not help in dislodging an airway obstruction. Any kind of developmental delay or disorder causing neurologic or muscular issue can also put children at higher risk for foreign body aspiration. Now coming to clinical manifestations, you should all know that the majority of foreign bodies are lodged in the bronchus. Rarely they can also be found lodged in the trachea or larynx. This is especially true for bulky foreign bodies or those with sharp or irregular edges, and it is particularly common in infants younger than 1 year of age. Also, a elder sibling at home is a potential risk factor who may place food items or objects into the mouth of the younger infant or toddler. The sites of foreign body most common include right lung, 52% in the main bronchus, 6% in the lower lobe bronchus, and less than 1% in middle lobe bronchus. The second most common site is left lung, 18% in main bronchus and 5% in lower bronchus, followed by trachea and carina that include 13% of foreign bodies, larynx 3%, and bilateral foreign bodies in case of 2% of children. So, the clinical manifestations from aspiration can be divided into 3 events or 3 phases, which is initial event, asymptomatic interval, and complication. Initial event begins with penetration syndrome. The penetration syndrome consists of sudden onset of choking and intractable cough with or without vomiting. Paroxysms of coughing, choking, gagging, and possible airway obstruction occur immediately after aspiration of foreign body. The child is sometimes able to expel the foreign body during this stage, and sometimes child may not be able to expel. A witnessed episode of choking defined as the sudden onset of cough or dyspnea or cyanosis in a previously healthy child has a sensitivity of 70 to 90% for the diagnosis of foreign body aspiration. Choking phase occurs immediately after the episode and lasts for a few seconds to several minutes. The acute episode usually is self-limited and may be followed by a symptom-free period, which must not be misinterpreted as a sign of resolution, since it may delay the diagnosis. Although highly suggestive of foreign body aspiration, the history of choking may not be recalled during initial evaluation, and detailed and repeated questioning of all caregivers may be necessary to stimulate the recall of choking episode. After the initial event, there is a period of asymptomatic interval when the foreign body becomes lodged in the airway, the reflexes fatigue, and the immediate irritating symptoms subside. This phase leads to delay in the diagnosis of foreign bodies in airway. Asymptomatic interval is followed by a phase of complication when the lodged foreign bodies cause obstruction or erosion of the airway, can lead to infection and pneumonia, which again directs the attention of the examiner to the presence of foreign body in the airway. During this stage, complications like fever, cough, hemoptysis, pneumonia, and atelectasis can occur. Based upon the location of the lodgement of foreign body, the clinical manifestations may vary. In case of extrathoracic, that is laryngeal or tracheal foreign body, the child may present with stridor, croupy cough, varying degrees of dyspnea, acute hypoxemia, and cyanosis. The symptoms may vary with degree of obstruction of the airway. The sound elicited by air moving over the object varies with the size of the airway and the degree of inflammation induced by the foreign body. In case of intrathoracic or lower tracheal or bronchial foreign body, the initial choking episode followed by a varying period of asymptomatic interval may lead to persistent and progressive symptoms, which may present as cough, monophonic wheezing, dyspnea. With inflammation or secondary atelectasis, fevers and signs of pneumonia may predominate, and it can lead to misdiagnosis of asthma or recurrent pneumonia. A focal foreign body may produce unilateral hyperinflation of the lung with widening of intercostal spaces. On auscultation, localized or diffuse wheezing, rales, or decreased air entry on the affected side may be appreciated. So, coming to diagnosis, if there is a positive history of choking episode, it is very reassuring and it directs us for further bronchoscopic evaluation. But in case of absence of a positive history, one should not rule out the diagnosis of foreign body aspiration, especially if there is any new onset wheezing, or on examination you find asymmetric breath sounds on both the lung fields. You should suspect foreign body aspiration. So, on the basis of history and examination, we can move ahead for further evaluation. So, coming to imaging, most of the foreign bodies which are radio opaque can be picked up in a plain radiograph of the chest, but 90% of the foreign bodies in children are radiolucent, so they may not be directly visible in a plain radiograph. So, we may have to rely on indirect signs in the radiograph which may point towards a possible foreign body. These signs can be visible if we order both inspiratory and expiratory chest radiograph and lateral decubitus film. And what are these signs? These include air trapping, asymmetric hyperinflation of lung fields, obstructive emphysema, atelectasis, mediastinal shift and consolidation. Let's see how. This is a radiograph, figure number A, a plain radiograph taken during inspiration of a kid with a foreign body in left main bronchus. As you can see, the inspiratory film looks completely normal with the both lung fields looking equally sized and there is no mediastinal shift. In figure B, which is taken during expiration, you can see there is hyperinflation of the left lung field and there is a mediastinal shift towards right side, which indicates air trapping on the left side of the lung due to the foreign body lodged in the left main bronchus, and because of this overinflation of the left side of the lung, there is a mediastinal shift to the right. So, these are the indirect signs which can be picked up if we order both inspiratory and expiratory film of a suspected patient of foreign body aspiration. If the diagnosis is still not clear on a plain radiograph, we may order a fluoroscopy. Fluoroscopy is a type of medical imaging that shows a continuous X-ray image on a monitor, much like in an X-ray movie. During a fluoroscopy procedure, an X-ray beam is passed through the body. The image is transmitted to a monitor, so the movement of the body part or the contrast agent through the body can be seen in detail, and this aids in the diagnosis of a foreign body. In case of long-standing organic foreign body aspiration, lung may get destroyed due to recurrent infection. To assess the extent of the damage, the CT chest may be helpful. Computed tomography, virtual bronchoscopy may be helpful in cases of foreign body in main airways. It may not be useful if foreign body is small and lodged beyond the main stem bronchi. Spiral CT scans may be useful in case of any diagnostic dilemma. So, once the diagnosis of foreign body is confirmed, how can we manage a case of foreign body aspiration? A case of foreign body aspiration can present to you in emergency room during an episode of choking. So, whenever you find an infant or a toddler choking, how should you manage that episode in emergency room? So, let's see, in an infant who is less than 1 year of age, if you see that the infant is choking, confirm severe airway obstruction, check for sudden onset of severe breathing difficulty, ineffective or silent cough, or weak or silent cry. So, if you find these signs, immediately you have to start back slap and chest thrusts. So, you have to give 5 back slaps and then you have to turn the child supine and you have to give 5 chest thrusts. You have to keep repeating these steps unless you can visibly see a foreign body dislodgement and coming out of the mouth of the child, or the infant becomes unresponsive. If the infant becomes unresponsive, you have to immediately proceed to cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So, back slaps and chest thrust is the method which is used to dislodge the foreign body in a choking infant, especially if the coughing effort or the cry of the infant is weak, and as you can see in the figure above. In case of older child above 1 year of age till adolescence, you have to ask that child, are you choking? And you have to look for universal choking sign. If you find a toddler or a child or an adolescent who is choking, you have to first stand behind that child or a toddler, and you have to observe whether the child is trying to cough out. If the child is making active efforts, you should do nothing, you should just stand behind and observe. If the child has stopped making active efforts of coughing, you should immediately begin the abdominal thrusts or the Heimlich's maneuver. You have to make a fist by your one hand and put it over the epigastrium of the child, and you have to hold that fist by the other hand, and then you have to give repeated abdominal thrust standing behind that child. These thrusts should be repeated unless they are effective, that means unless there is a dislodgement of foreign body or the patient becomes unresponsive. If the patient becomes unresponsive, you have to immediately start chest compression. So this is the universal choking sign. In older child, if the child is choking, you may be able to see this universal choking sign in 100% of the patients. If the victim becomes unresponsive, you should call for help and ask somebody to activate the emergency response. You should lower the child to the floor. If the child is unresponsive with no breathing or only gasping respiration, you should immediately begin cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Before you deliver breaths, first open the mouth and look into the mouth. If you see a foreign body that can be easily removed, you can remove it. And you should continue CPR for 5 cycles or for about 2 minutes. If you are alone and you can activate emergency response, return and continue CPR until more skilled providers arrive to help you. Now, this was the management of acute episode. Once the acute episode of choking is over and the child has survived that episode and the foreign body has now dislodged from upper airway to lower airway and gets lodged in the lower airway, the child may present after the asymptomatic phase with complications. So now let's see how to manage such child. So first you should order a inspiratory and expiratory chest radiograph. If the inspiratory and expiratory chest radiographs are normal and there are no symptoms or signs, you should just advise follow up after 2-3 days and consider a repeat chest radiograph and again look for findings of foreign body aspiration. If the chest radiographs are normal but you get a very good history of aspiration or focal findings on examination, you should immediately move ahead for fluoroscopic examination. In case of equivocal findings on chest radiograph, that is minimal atelectasis or consolidation, and presence of poor history of aspiration, no focal findings, you can give initial treatment of antibiotics or bronchodilators based upon the clinical presentation of the child and may advise follow up, or else you can directly move ahead to fluoroscopy. If the fluoroscopy is normal, an observation is advised. If low index of suspicion is there, we can consider bronchoscopy for diagnosis and removal if the history and symptoms are still suggestive of a foreign body, even if the fluoroscopy is normal. If the chest X-ray or fluoroscopy is suggestive of foreign body, you should immediately move ahead to bronchoscopic visualization and removal of that foreign body. For this, rigid bronchoscopy is preferred. So this is how you manage a case of foreign body aspiration. So this was all about foreign body aspiration. In case of any doubts, you can just mail me on my email ID. Thank you all and wish you happy learning.